Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Timeless Podcast here. Episode 6 of the Timeless Podcast, I believe, here, and we've got a cracking show for you this week with the finale of Doctor Who, The Timeless Children, and some more Doctor Who news and merch, as always. Joining me, as you heard, it's Flanders from The Simpsons. Flanders, how's it going?
Doodly, neighbour. Neighboury now.
How's it going?
Watch out for that grid on the floor.
Why have you done it to Yoda for bad lip sync?
No, I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Don't fall asleep.
Don't fall asleep.
What have you been up to this week? I know you've been up to some stuff, so you can actually talk. I know you've been watching things.
Yeah, right, yeah. So I've been catching up on some of my shows. I've been watching, I think I said last week that I was watching The Witcher. I finished that now. Really enjoyed the series, man. And I'm gonna get you to watch it and review it on the pod as well.
That's 2 weeks time.
Yeah, I've also been finishing off the Brooklyn Nine-Nine series 5. So that's always good. And obviously, as always, I've been watching a bit of Doctor Who. And I've been meaning to watch a bunch of Studio Ghibli films pretty soon. Because they're all on Netflix now, and I haven't seen a lot of them in a very long while, so I'm going to go through and watch a bunch of those pretty soon as well.
Yeah, I've been dipping into some of the Ghibli films. Not many, obviously. I've rewatched the ones that I've seen, so I love Spirited Away.
Oh, Spirited Away is great, isn't it?
It's one of the only ones that I can... Because if you don't know, I've mentioned it a few times, and to George's absolute dismay, anime isn't really my thing. And I just don't.
It's not very anime. Well, it is obviously anime in the style, but in
Ghibli,
the storytelling, it's quite.
That's why I like Spirited Away quite a bit, and very mature story. I always start crying. I'm just a crybaby. Like we've just realised this. Next week we've got a wrap up show, but we'll probably also, because I'm going to treat George to go and watch Onward at some point this week, so hopefully we'll try and get that watched before
hopefully.
Next week's show, and we can talk about that, and George will make more fun of me about how I cry, because I probably will cry. But no, I know you're not going to be interested in this, but a new season of a Netflix show came out this week, and I watched it.
What was that?
Formula 1 Drive to Survive. If you don't know, great. I'm really into motorsport. George hates it.
I don't hate it.
He goes, what's the point? I don't see the point at all. It's a joke.
I don't see the point in it. I'm sorry.
I don't see the point, no, but it's really good. I really enjoy it. It's a different insight to the other stuff. But the stuff you don't see on, when Sky do it, the behind the scenes, absolute, like a bunch of... A lot of the troubles that the teams go through. There's a lot of swearing as well. So normally a lot of kids watch Formula 1 don't watch this show, because I think it might be rated 18 this season. I think it was that bad. Like there was
Blimey.
There was a team boss who was like, we look like excuse my language here. I'm gonna not say it as much, but he went, we look like effing effers, effing everything up all the effing time. Oh my god, I want to effing kill all my team. Wow. I need an effing break. They weren't having a good time. It's just it was mad. I really enjoyed it. Apart from that, I've watched my regulars again this week. Flash was really good again this week. I really enjoyed Flash this week. In particular, it's one of the better ones, because I don't think this season's been too grand, but this week was really good. Had Gorilla Grodd, DC villain Gorilla Grodd.
Nice.
If you don't know, it's a massive telepathic gorilla.
Yeah.
And he joined forces with the Flash and became a super fast gorilla. So that was always fun. But apart from that, I didn't watch much. I watched that in Dex Saturday Night Takeaway again.
I did not. I've not been watching it this series.
This week was a lot better.
Okay.
But that's because there was no Pussycat Dolls in it. It was whatever. It was whatever it was. And it had Rob Brydon at the top doing like the announce and shit. So
nice.
I always enjoy a bit of Rob Brydon. So yeah, I think that was me this week. Apart from that though, I mean we have a very loose plan to do something which I guess we can discuss with some of the listeners and whatever. Because I always get the question, are you coming to LFCC? Maybe. It's a might.
Yeah,
we're in the
might be
we're in
going.
the early planning stages of just checking out prices and stuff, finding all the loopholes. Because being disabled, you get a few lovely loopholes. It's just the truth. I don't mean to be a dick, but it's just the truth.
No, well, it is what it is.
It is what it is, I mean, so it's and like we're in early planning stages, but I mean we're hoping to go for a few days, have a good time.
Yeah.
And meet some lovely people, meet some stars, meet some nice cosplayers, see some people that we've watched and listened to for a while, roaming around hopefully, and just a good time. If we do go, it'll be very exciting. Because it'll probably be the last big thing we do before we part ways.
Before the parting of the ways, indeed.
What a cracker. We can't wait to get around to that. But before we get into the show, I just want to say at the end of this episode, there'll be a bit of admin to let you know what's coming up. Because this is kind of the last episode for a while, where a new episode of Doctor Who will be coming out. So now we're sort of in
the last episode of the podcast for a while. I mean, the last episode of Doctor Who for a while.
Yeah.
Let's make that clear. We're still kicking about. Yeah.
We're still kicking. We're enjoying ourselves, having a good time, and I'm happy that the response and some of you guys that have jumped on, it's incredible. And so I didn't think we'd even get one viewer, so let alone some of the views we've been getting. It's been quite fun and nice to do.
Yeah.
We're quite light on news and merch this week. What do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about the title of the new special? Or do you want to talk about viewing figures? We've got a lot of
well, let's go straight on to viewing figures. If there's no merch, then we might as well head on to
there is a merchandise thing I want to talk about, but it's not merchandise news. It's just something I'm really peed off about.
Oh right, okay. I think I know what you're talking
about.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Cool.
the Timeless Children got 13. That was a 13. That would be amazing. 3.78 million viewers, and it had the 19.8% audience score. It was the 7th most popular TV show for the day. Doctor Who was beaten by its ITV opposition, Dancing on Ice, which only had 4.4.
Fuckers.
It only had 4.14.
John Barrowman, you traitor, but not really, because we all love you still because you were in this series of Doctor Who and you did brilliantly.
Oh no, mate! Don't worry, I'm gonna be more annoyed. Top for the day.
If you say Country File,
was what led into Doctor Who. Country File with 4.4 million viewers.
What?
Following that, the Antiques Roadshow had 4.41 million. The latest episode of The Last Halifax in Tango, I'm calling it that from now on. The Last Tango in Halifax had 4.17. Over on ITV, McDonald and Dodds, whatever the fuck that is, had 4.38 million.
Okay.
The 10 p.m. BBC News apparently did well with 4.38 as well. Get on, new BBC News. Good for you. So yeah, it made Doctor Who the 49th most programme for the week, so we've gone up one place from the last week's overnight view. Overall, though, fairly consistent. I don't think there's anything to be worried about here. It's virtually the exact same. And are you ready to get on to the consolidated figures for?
Yeah, let's go.
For our favourite programme. Okay, so the consolidated figures for Ascension of the Cybermen are 4.99 million viewers. This upped it to the 25th most programmed of all the week, with a 22.6 audience share. So the audience share actually went up, which is expected if the viewing figures go up by that amount. Top for the week was Atlan Deck Set Night Takeaway with 8.7 million viewers. Top for the week on the BBC was called Midwife.
Okay.
And Doctor Who had an AI score of 81, so the AI score is doing well as well. If you guys don't know, the appreciation index needs to be above 78, really, for us to be really happy. 81's cracking, because you don't normally see it go up that much.
Yeah.
It's only 3 numbers, but still, that's amazing. So overall, mate, nothing to worry about.
G'do.
I mean, it's...
G'do, yeah.
To be fair, you got to give it to the Chibs. He may have lost a bunch
He's made one of the best series of Doctor Who, and it's of modern Doctor Who, and it's a shame that nobody else can see this. Like, so few people... I've seen so many people saying, like, this series of Doctor Who's dreadful. This is bad. This is that. This, that, and the other. Look at the ratings. There are videos that like literally the thumbnail says like at least he tried, and I'm sat there thinking he tried and succeeded.
I mean, there are channels out there. I don't know whether you know of this channel called Nerdrotic, who just like to fearmonger and go, Doctor Who's crap in my opinion, so therefore cancelled.
Yeah.
It's like, no, mate. People actually really liked it.
Yeah.
Shut up. But I've got to give it to the Chibbers as well, because it's only dropped off essentially 1 million all season, which is unheard of for a BBC television show, and unheard of for Doctor Who. Normally you get the big bolster on the first episode, and then it just loses about 3 million by the end of it.
Yeah.
But this season, not so much. Overall, though, 5 million. If your top for the week is 8 million something, I don't think you're too worried at all. To be fair, I think Series 11 was pretty much an anomaly at the minute in terms of how
Series
much
11
people watched it.
Yeah.
It's got to be an anomaly for me, and I think as long as we keep this every season, then we're not getting cancelled anytime soon.
Yeah, of course.
Do you want to find out about a new Doctor Who exhibition thing that's happening?
What? Tell me about this.
It's not. Don't get that excited. It's not like Doctor Who.
Is it Cardiff Castle? Is that what
no,
we're talking about?
No. It's not the Doctor Who experience. So if you live or if you want to travel, the newest they're doing a live Doctor Who escape game.
Nice.
Which is really cool. It can be booked today, and it will be at Birmingham, and it will be at several other venues, including Norwich. Opening throughout 2020, players will step on board a spaceship invaded by a fearsome Dalek. The age-old enemy is trapped some of the ship's power system and is draining power and is creating new Daleks, but you have to try and stop it. It's called A Dalek Awaits, and it's a Dalek escape game where the Dalek is haunting you and you've got to try and find a way to not get killed. I really like stuff like this. I'm not going to do it,
so do I.
but I really like the fact they're doing it.
Nice.
If you live in the Reading area, it opens on the 9th, and it'll be at Birmingham on the 11th of March. So it's coming up close. So if you guys, by the time this pod comes out, you better get on that.
Be on that, yeah.
And also, it's not even that badly priced. It's £25, which isn't bad.
That's not bad at all
for these sorts of things, because you're probably going to get a lot of. They're probably going to get a lot of bonus stuff as well. And it's good that the BBC are shipping out the Daleks, especially because there's a lot of hype around Daleks right now. You know, and, I just think it's absolute. I think that's a good thing. I mean, I'm just happy that there's more stuff going on outside of the show, because we've been talking about this on the pod. We've obviously talked about the DVD box sets. They've been really good, really strong. However, you've been saying you don't feel that as much in terms of merchandise anymore and events going on. This is the sort of stuff we need.
Of course. Yeah.
Unfortunately, where me and George live, nothing really goes on with this sort of stuff. Because we live in a very, I wouldn't say small city.
We live in Devon. We can say that.
Yeah, and we don't live in Plymouth either, which is where you'd assume that people from Devon probably live. Nothing really goes on down here.
People assume Plymouth
because it's always on the map on the news, isn't it? It's never us.
Oh, okay, I see.
That's always right. You look at the southwest, it says Plymouth. But no, I mean, I would love one down here. I'd definitely do it if it was. I'd pay £25. Yes, I mean, not right now because I'm saving for LFCC. But I mean, if get on that, people. Right now we got some. I think some really really cool news.
Yeah, go on.
This is I really like the title of the. New Year's or Christmas special. We don't know when it is. The Chibbers doesn't even know when it is.
Chibbers does not know when it is. The BBC have full control over this year.
I really hope they put it on Christmas.
I really hope it goes on Christmas as well. There's nothing better than sitting down on Christmas Day.
Because what did they replace it with? They replaced it with obviously it wasn't Mrs. Brown's Boys. I know that's always on.
I don't know, some shit. It was shit.
It's
Christmas
always
TV. Like, it was like Miranda or something, wasn't it?
That was before Doctor Who, wasn't it?
Okay, yeah.
Is it always Strictly got a Christmas special? Why does Strictly need a Christmas special? It's on 2 weeks before Christmas finishes.
True.
No one's going, I want more Strictly. I mean, unless someone really funny's on it. I mean, that's when I tune into Strictly. If someone I think's really funny,
or if somebody is going to be shit.
If like Bradley Walsh went on
really
Strictly
bad.
Come Dancing, I would be voting for Bradley Walsh to win the Strictly.
Oh,
Come
100%. Yeah,
I'd be using. I don't know if there's a Strictly Come Dancing app. I don't care. However, Doctor Who will be returning in the festive season with Revolution of the Daleks.
Indeed.
They're going to have an outsuit of the Daleks, aren't they?
Yeah.
So we've had Revolution. What's the next special? Famous YouTuber Crispy Pro said it would be Ravioli of the Daleks. What are you saying? What R word can you fit in with the Daleks?
Redemption of the Daleks.
You actually went seriously there.
Fuck yeah. I was going to say the royal family of the Daleks, and I was like, nah. where am I going to... That's not a fun episode.
I was going to go with Rudolph and the Daleks.
Rudolph and the Daleks! The good name for a band.
Yes.
A Swedish pop band.
I mean, I was talking about this earlier, but Iceland revealed their Eurovision entrant, and it bangs team. Do you watch Eurovision?
I watch it sometimes. I usually just tune in for the results show because it's all political.
We just want to be friends with Ireland, don't we? We're never going to get that.
Yeah, we're never going to be friends with Ireland. They hate us.
All we want, we're like the master. We're like take our hand, Ireland, and they're like, no.
No, we're not going to play your games, and we're like, it's not a game, it's Eurovision. Are we in Eurovision this year? Because we're not in Eurovision.
We haven't left Europe. We've left the European Union, mate.
Oh, I suppose.
How are Australia in it, but we're not? That would be banter.
True.
That would be banter. Imagine, Australia allowed you? No.
Yeah, get out.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Goodbye. You are the weakest nation. Goodbye.
But along with this announcement, it is confirmed that Jodie Whittaker, Mandip Gill, Tosin Cole, and Bradley Walsh are set to star in the roles as the Fam. So then I have a gripe now. This is Alex's Grumpy Corner.
Yeah, go on. Alex's Grumpy Corner. If I get one, you get one. Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one. Another one. So and I know that I was looking forward to getting my hands on the season 12 collector's set.
Yes.
This week.
Yes.
However, whoever packages them, because I don't want to play in the BBC. I know it's Doctor Who's a BBC property. Whoever packaged them puts the fucking wrong discs in. They put the season 10 John Pertwee collector's set discs in the box set, which means we now have to get it late. I think the 28th of March, which is fine. However, next month I am saving 50 quid back in my. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I'm putting money back in my bank. I am paying for the Doctor Who Series 12 Steelbook, and now I've got to pay out for this bloody thing. It's annoying. So yeah, next month, George, we ain't going for spoons, like you said. I'll be like, I can afford a Greg sausage roll. But yeah, I'm just really not like how do I don't understand. How does that happen? I get if it was like my one box. I mean, that would incline me to be peed off. But how on a massive scale? How do you not look at the cover and go, nah?
Oh, shit.
I don't get it. Obviously, we're still getting the box set, which is good. Thankfully, it's just a re-release, so there's not too much worry. Which means there's less people are getting it. Obviously, it was a limited run. It's stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You'd think that by now, they'd be all right. They'd be good at this,
Yeah,
How do you
but somehow
screw
they're
that
not.
up? How do you screw that up?
I don't
How do you actually
know.
go about screwing that up, innit?
Do you think they were like, right, let's just screw with our audience and be like, look, we do not have enough. There's a massive demand. We need to make more boxes. Let's just pretend that we put the wrong discs in. I mean, if that is the case, that's the equivalent of going, my leg got blew off in the war, so I can't come into college today. It's like, well, obviously that didn't happen. You know?
I don't know, mate.
I mean, what war were you in if your leg got blew off?
The Cyber Wars.
Oh! You travelled back. I was supposed to... Oh, spoilers. However, speaking of the Cyber Wars, are you ready?
Are you ready?
For the review of The Timeless Children, Doctor Who, Series 10. Series 10? Series 12, Episode 10. Just before we get going, because I forgot this last week and I got absolutely destroyed for it. It is written by Chris Chibnall and directed by Jamie Magnus Stone. It was obviously released on the 1st of
When
March 2020.
you say that you got absolutely slated for it, is it just you being like, oh, I forgot to do it?
No, my friends that listened to it were like, you didn't do that, and it annoys me. Apparently I'm not.
Oh, I see.
Apparently I'm not being the same week to week, so hey. So yeah, it was released on the 1st of March, and it is obviously the second part of the two-parter. Well, you could call it a three-part if you want.
It's a Utopia 3-parter, I think is the way that we're referring to it as, where the first part isn't necessarily the first part, it just leads on nicely.
It's like the prologue.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, the prologue.
Okay, George, are you ready for George's Synopsis Corner?
George's Synopsis Corner. Yes.
I thought you were going to vibe with me and like keep the same tempo, but no, you just did the same one from last week. I was trying my own thing and I thought you were just going to like join. Anyway, so for George's, you got a lot to cover here, so I can go sleep for 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, of course. Right, so... obviously starts off with a good old recap. The Doctor is currently on is about to head to Gallifrey with the Master. Graham and Yaz are on a cyber ship about to have their heads blown off, and Ryan sort of just stood there looking, and that's what he's doing at the moment. Ignore the dog noises. It's a loud Meg.
I apologise for my dog. We got my sister's moving out, so we got some delivery guys over just moving shit about at the minute. So I apologise.
No worries, my man. So basically, the Master and the Doctor go to Gallifrey, and it's the first time seeing Gallifrey in ruins with the Master. There's so much happened in this episode that it's difficult to cover in such a quick pace that I do usually.
That's alright, we got some time to pad. We only did 20 minutes of build up. So
Yaz and Graham are about to be killed by Cybermen, but they escape through a vent. You know, classic Doctor Who style. Meanwhile, the Master and the Doctor have left Ryan with Old Man Jenkins and the clever one from last episode, and Koshamus. And basically it turns out Old Man Jenkins used to be a war general, and he's got weapons and stuff, and he knows strategic plan, and that's good because the Cybermen are coming to kill the last 3 humans down on the planet by the portally rifty outer rim bit.
Yeah, I want to find out what's the boundary they called it.
The boundary, yeah, they call it the boundary. I remember now. So basically, Ryan's like blowing stuff up. We finally get some character development from Ryan. He throws the bomb that's oddly basketball shaped directly into the middle of the Cybermen, and we get one of the good old Ryan Sinclair celebratory dances where he's like, I did it, it was me, because that's one of Ryan's character traits.
Just want to interject.
Go on.
How similar? I mean, Ryan is a toned down version. How similar is Ryan in this series compared to Finn in Rise of the Skywalker? That's
the best way of putting it.
And by the way, before anyone says it's nothing to do with their race, nothing, before you guys, because I know what people are like these days, Christ, nothing to do, it's just the way they're written. But every time Ryan does something, he goes, boom! Every time the Finn does something, woohoo! Or he goes, Ray!
Ray! And then gets blown away by some shit. But no,
hang on, I'm envisioning literal shit. So I don't know why I'm so childish today. I'm in a good mood.
Right then, back into the synopsis. Basically, Ryan and Yaz come up with Ryan and Yaz, Graham and Yaz come up with a plan to escape the Cybermen, and it includes putting on some cyber armor and pretending to be Cybermen, which is really barbaric. That's like stepping into the slaughterhouse, but they got to do it. Anyway, meanwhile, the Master and the Doctor are having a little tour round home. You know, they're back after their gap year and they're having a tour around, seeing what's changed. Turns out the Master's just blown everything up and destroyed it all, except the Matrix.
Just to interject again, it's sort of like an episode of 60-Minute Makeover gone wrong at the end, where they're like, look what I did! Is that too niche for
DIY SOS?
Is that too niche for 2020 audiences, 60-Minute Makeover?
Nah, mate. No, of course not. The Master's just blown everything up. He's redesigned Gallifrey, basically. And the Doctor's sort of looking around at the old ruins. The Master's taking a trip down memory lane, saying how, you know, we used to run through these streets and all that rubbish. The one thing that he didn't explode, like I say, was the Matrix, because he'd found something in there that the Doctor needed to know. So naturally, he captures her, puts her in a paralysation field, and puts her brain into the Matrix with him as he's telling this lovely story. So Ryan is fighting the cyber hordes. He's with Old Man Jenkins and the Clever One, and suddenly the Clever One he gets captured, and the Cybermen are like, "We have your friend." I did the Mondasian because I can't do modern day Cybermen. They're like, "We have your friend."
Just for context, his name is Ethan.
Oh, Ethan. Yeah. Anyway, so Clever One, Ethan, he is like about to be killed, and they go, "Surrender, or your friend will die in 10 seconds." So they have 10 seconds to surrender. So they're running through the tent, like, "Stop, we surrender!" But they've still got their guns, so they don't. They're like, "We surrender!" And suddenly you hear blasts, and it zooms in, and Ethan is still alive, but the Cybermen are dead. There are 4 Cybermen stood behind them. Ryan's looking on like, the fuck just happened? And Yaz takes off her cyber helmet and is like, "Yo, lads. What's up?
I am now Cyberman.
I am now Cyber Yaz."
I think she put something on Twitter like Cyber Dip or something.
Cyber Dip.
I'll find it quickly. I'm on Twitter.
My favourite dip of Doritos. So, Ryan's like, "Oh shit, these guys, they're alive. That's great." Meanwhile, the Master has invited the Cybermen to Gallifrey, and they've accepted. So the Master, he's like, "Don't worry about the Doctor. She's asleep at the moment. My subconscious is looking after her while she's in the Matrix." Turns out the Master's in 2 places at once. He's speaking to the Cybermen on Gallifrey, and he's also speaking to the Doctor in the Matrix. Basically, the Master is basically asking for an alliance with the Cybermen to create the supreme race, the best warrior race ever.
The hybrid.
The hybrid, which is, we'll get onto this later, but it's the hybrid, basically, from old Series 9.
Yeah, you got it.
So basically, the Master's trying to influence the lone Cyberman, who currently has the Cyberium and everything, slowly learning about the Cyberium, whilst the Doctor is slowly learning about her own past. Dun dun dun! Basically, the Master is telling her the story of the first Gallifreyan. What they called? They had a different name at the beginning of time, but we've learnt to call them Time Lords. Basically, this lone wanderer in space finds a child, and she brings the child back to Gallifrey.
I can tell you the wanderer is called Tectaeun.
Tectaeun.
But I can't remember what the race is called.
A wanderer, they're like the Shenkai or something like that. Basically, Tectaeun finds a child in the far reaches of space by a barrier, by a breach, by a wormhole in time and space.
The Shibogans.
The Shibogan, that's it. So this lone Shibogan woman finds a child, and she decides to adopt this child. Naturally, she tries to understand this child because she is a different race. She's a different species to her mother. So she is trying to understand this child. in doing so, she starts to get a bit obsessed, and one day, sorry, I burped. One day, the child falls directly off a cliff and splat. The child is dead. Her mum runs up to her and is like, "Oh no, my baby!" But then the child starts to regenerate, and the master is like, all like, "This was the first regeneration ever to happen in Gallifrey," and all of this shit, and it's so good. It's genuinely really cool. And then basically, it turns out that this child's mum is now transfixed on the secrets of regeneration, and she experiments on her child, regeneration after regeneration, trying to figure out the DNA code. And eventually she does. She injects herself with the serum she made, and she becomes the first Time Lord. She is basically Razalon. No, I'm joking. Basically, she creates Time Lord society, and this sprouts up and everything like that. Which begs the question, what happened to the child? And the Doctor asks this of the Master, and the Master looks at her and says, "Don't you know yet, Doctor? Haven't you figured it out?" I don't know why he's Matt Smith, but he is. Haven't you figured it out yet,
That's
Doctor?
not Sacha Dhawan at all.
Haven't you figured it out yet, Doctor? You are the timeless child. And the Doctor's like, "What? I'm not the timeless child. I remember all of my shit." And he's like, "No, you've lived so many different lives that the Time Lords just wiped your memory." And it adds this entire amazing canon to Time Lord history and all of this good stuff. And it turns out the Doctor is the basis. And that's why the Master has destroyed Gallifrey. Because it's the idea that a tiny little bit of the Doctor's DNA is within him. Everything that makes him special is because of the Doctor. And he hates it. Anyway, so meanwhile, the fam are all back together with these added on people. We've got Grace 2, the annoying one who looks like.
Alright, let me do this. So you got Ravio, you got Gedalami, and you got Bescott
and Ethan.
And Ethan. Actually, no. So Bescott actually got offed at the beginning. You didn't mention that, but I mean.
Oh right, yeah, she dies.
Koshamus, Ravio, Gedalami, Ethan, and the fam.
Yes, and Ethan. So we can't forget about the clever one, Ethan. So basically, they decide to step through the portal. They are among the first humans to ever have visited Gallifrey. They're on Gallifrey soil. They're loving it. They're all like, "This is the Doctor's home. Let's go find her." Meanwhile, the Doctor is sort of having an inner conflict. The Master has now left, and she's sort of like thinking, "What is going on? What is going on here?" Turns out that I think this is how it's described in the episode. Basically, that Brendan from the last episode, the old Irish kid, was actually just a concoction devised by the Time Lords to cover up for the Timeless Child. And the Master had projected these images into the Doctor's head to sort of hint at her being... Sorry, I was just looking out my window and I just saw a kid like fall over out of a car. Sorry, right.
Please tell me the car wasn't moving.
No. She was getting out of the car and he just like fell out of the car onto his arse. Anyway, so basically, turns out that the Master has projected these images into the Doctor's mind to try and, I don't know, jump memories or something like that. But you see that everything that happened to Brendan in the last episode happened to the Timeless Child in this episode as the Master was telling the story. Anyhow, the fam are now on Gallifrey and the Doctor's having a bit of a crisis. And she's like, "Oh, what am I doing here?" Then Ruth Doctor appears. She's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" Ruth's like, "I don't know, love. You're the one who summoned me here." Anyway, it turns out Ruth Doctor's got the answers to everything, and the Doctor's having this crisis, and she's like, "I don't know who I am anymore." And the Ruth Doctor's just like, "Does that matter? Have you ever known who you are?" And the Doctor's like, "Nah, to be honest." Then we get a classic, good old Doctor Who montage of just all of the Doctors, a bunch of aliens, everything that's happened this series. It's all there. The Doctor explodes the Matrix with her mind and her memories because she now has them all back. I want to get onto that little sequence a bit later on as well in the episode, because there are a couple Easter eggs in there that I really like the attention to detail. Anyhow, all in all, the Doctor basically gets up and is like, the fam's here now. There's a little bit of a scare where I genuinely thought she was going to regenerate into like the next Doctor, but she didn't. She's still there. Whittaker is still with us. Basically, the Doctor is all about blowing the Cybermen up now. Considering the fact that she didn't want to kill the spiders in Rachnas in the UK,
she now wants she wanted to kill them slowly.
Yeah, slowly and painfully. Yeah. But no, she wants to blow up the new Cybermen, which, by the way, the Master has gotten the Cybermen onto his side. Which basically means that now he has merged the Cybermen with the dead Time Lords that he had killed when destroying Gallifrey, creating a sub-race of Cybermen called the Cyber Masters. And they're awesome and they're epic, and I hope I see them again, because, my god, they're such a good idea. Anyway, so the Master has introduced these Cyber Masters to the Doctor, and she hates them. She wants to blow them up. So, naturally, she does. Turns out that the lone Cyberman, whom I've sort of forgotten about, he gets shrunk into a little doll, like the Master does. Ashad got shrunk to a little doll, but he has basically a nuke in his chest that the Cyberium created, a death particle, which gets rid of any organic life on a planet. The Doctor basically finds this little figure and is like, there's a death particle in his chest. Let's blow it up! So she basically, they set bombs around the entire cyber ship. The cyber ship explodes. And the Doctor is on Gallifrey with this little action figure attached to a torch. And she's about to blow it up. And the Master's going, do it then. Go on, lad. Do it. Go on, peer pressure, give in. The Doctor cannot do it. She cannot bring herself to kill these people. Then Old Man Jenkins comes out and is like, oi, I'll do it. So naturally they all run off to a TARDIS and they escape. The fam are left on Earth. The Doctor goes to pick up her TARDIS, which leads into the New Year's / Christmas special, where the Jadoon have infiltrated the TARDIS and teleported the Doctor straight to maximum security prison. That is George's synopsis. I'm sorry it was incredibly rough. There was so much going on in this episode, so many different plot lines.
It also clocked in at about 15 minutes, so I hope
Was that a 15-minute synopsis?
Yeah.
That's a long-ass synopsis.
I hope you enjoy for an 80-minute episode.
But this episode was like 20 minutes longer as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was 70 minutes, I think.
There you go.
No, was it 70 or 80? I don't know.
It would be 80, because they're hour-long episodes, aren't they?
50 minutes, but this was from 10... 70 minutes long. Anyway, George, what did you think to The Timeless Children?
Okay, so...
I know what, by the way, I know what George thinks on the first watch. I don't know, he's had his second watch since, I don't know what he thinks.
I want to start off by saying, on the first watch, I was massively disappointed because I was expecting so much more. I was expecting so many more twists. The entire plot line of the Doctor being the Timeless Child and everything, I could see coming from a mile away. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I was just expecting a little bit more. Then I watched it again, and I watched it as a fan rather than a critic, and I genuinely really liked it. I watched it a second time and fell in love with the episode. Really, really enjoyed it. I think all of the companions had their time to shine in this episode. None of them felt like they shouldn't be there. The Doctor, Jodie's just fucking great, isn't she? As the Doctor, she's fantastic. There's a part in here where she she asked the Master to show her the rest of the things, and the Master's like, I don't think you can take it, and she literally is like, just fucking show me! And it's so good. It's really great. I rewatched it without any preconceptions, knowing what was going to happen, and I really, really liked it. First time I was a bit dubious and was like a bit like, did I really like it? Is it really that good? It is. It genuinely is. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. Really, really liked it.
See, on fourth watch, 'cause I watched it 4 times. It's good, isn't it?
It's good, isn't it? It's so good.
Do you know what? I can understand if you're annoyed at the the adds to the lore, because it doesn't change the Doctor Who lore.
It just adds to it,
If you don't like the additions to the lore, then that's perfectly fine. If you're on Twitter bitching that it changed, I'm sorry, I don't see how. But I'm just gonna get out my annoyance out of the way first.
Please do.
Some people on the internet were like, "See, everyone knew the Doctor was originally a woman. How do we know? How do we know that kid was her first regen?"
Yeah.
Also, does it matter? Does it matter?
No, it fucking doesn't.
No, it doesn't matter at all. The fact that you guys are bringing race and gender into this makes you guys the problem. If you just got on with it and just allowed it to happen, we wouldn't need these big "look, it's a woman" stuff. We would just be able to go, "Look, it's a woman. How good." We should be caring about
it's woman. How good.
we should be caring about the quality of acting, not the colour of their skin or
the
their gender.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Speaking of which, Jodie Whittaker killed it. So if you don't like Jodie Whittaker,
she is so good. She's genuinely amazing.
Literally, Jodie Whittaker killed it for me. I think she really fantastic. And I genuinely think... By the way, as well, I've seen a lot of people going, first of all, female Doctor, and then Master that isn't white. Doctor Who is against the white man. Shut up!
No, it's not. Graham exists.
Graham exists. Jack was back. Yeah, we had Lee.
Every other Doctor is a white
Doctor.
Man. It's a straight white man.
Also, the showrunner is a white man.
Yeah.
So what? I don't understand it, but for me, mate, this is a cracker. I mean, I don't want to reference these guys. I know these were my inspiration to start the podcast and what have you, but Big Blue Box, Gary on there said Doctor Who, in terms of finales, needed a kick up the ass. And for me, this 3-parter or 2-parter has been the kick up the ass that Doctor Who has needed. I haven't been, as you know, me and you, ever since we know each other, been massive Who fans. I've not been this passionate and this excited for ages.
No, I can vouch for that. He has not.
Even going into the special this year, I am excited. I'm not going, well, no, we've got 8 months to pad. I can go watch Matt Smith. I want to go, no, give it to me now. Give me that special right now. I do have a disagreement with one of your points.
Yeah, go on.
If this is the exit of some of our companions, well, obviously this episode isn't itself, but if this is their last major story, I don't feel they all had a lot to play. I know the story was about the Doctor and the Master, and that is the biggest nitpick. I'm getting all my annoyances out the way.
Yeah.
I don't feel they did much. Ryan had stuff to do. Ryan was good, but the only thing that they gave Graham and Yaz was a scene in a room.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, however, I remember
it was gone.
I was going to say, I remember that I messaged you at that point in the episode, like, his theories, right? And we'll get onto that in a second.
Yeah. So I just felt like I felt that they had everything to do because Graham and Yaz had their own like wrapped up story that they were concluding from the last episode. And I feel like that was okay, that was good. Ryan obviously had the most to do, but there were entire scenes that had just Graham and Yaz trying to problem solve for themselves and do that thing for themselves. And I know I've complained about Yaz going off and doing random shit by herself without consulting people, but in this episode she seemed almost scared. And Graham was the one who was like, "Oh, I've got a plan. It's a bit wacky, but we've done wacky before, haven't we, Yaz?" And Yaz is like, "How wacky?"
I love how you've oxymoroned yourself, because the entire point of the conversation was, "You're never scared, Yaz. You're the most impressive woman I ever met." And I really like that scene.
I really like it too. Yeah.
Because when you think about it, Yaz, I know you've had complaints. She does go in and just does. She has no fear. She's the sort of person that doesn't think before she acts. And, you know, that's why we're worried. I mean, I don't want to go into rumours, but there are rumours that Mandip's staying on for season 13, which I wouldn't be against as long as we bring an actual... I don't want to say that with these trolls on Twitter, but we need to bring at least one main male cast member in before people start actually getting pissed off. And, maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I also, the Tasman shippers will be loving it. However, for me, I think... the scene worked out well. It just kind of felt like when Chibbers was writing it, because he had so much to do, and he did. This is the most ambitious Doctor Who episode probably since Journey's End, in terms of the amount of characters, the amount of plots, what you got to wrap up. Would you agree? I'd say this is the most ambitious Doctor Who has been since then.
Yeah, I'd agree
and
with that.
He had a lot to do, and I felt like when he was writing the script, he was like, how do we factor Graham and Yaz into actually doing something of substance, rather than just being on Gallifrey for 5 minutes? And I felt like he gave him the scene, which is a nice scene, but, you know, it is what it is. And also, I want to talk about the fact that everyone was theorising a companion was going to die. On reflection, given what we got, I'm not that bothered that they didn't die in this episode. If Graham and Ryan just leave at the end of Revelation of the Daleks, if they just leave without if one of them don't die, I'm going to be annoyed, because I want the Daleks to kill someone.
Yeah, let's make the Daleks scary again and powerful, like we have with the Cybermen and everything.
We had that moment in Resolution, which was really, really, really good, where that Dalek was just killing all those people.
Yes.
Line him up, knock him down. I think Chibnall knows how to write the Daleks, so that gets me excited for the festive special. But apart from that, mate,
festive special, yeah.
Where do we begin with this? How do we actually dissect this episode of brilliance? Oh, by the way, while we're talking about technical stuff, this is the best Doctor Who's looked ever.
The CG in this entire series has been great. That cyber cruiser coming up overhead at the beginning of the episode looked real. Like, that is what it would look like. They even had like the like distance fog and everything, where like obviously the further things are away, the more faded they're going to look because of the amount of air that's in the way. That sort of thing. Yeah, it looked awesome, basically.
My favourite shot was when they were showing the building of the Gallifrey like thing, where they were showing and it was like a time lapse of Gallifrey being built.
Oh my god!
My god!
And the way that the Master was like telling the story of Gallifrey as well, like a storybook, that's amazing. I want them to write that and release it as a book.
Also, I know you're a fan of this film, but I think that the Master is a better unreliable narrator than Joker was in the entirety of Joker. But for me, I think obviously we're not guys that are like, CGI has to be brilliant, it has to look good, but this looked good, but it looked good with a purpose, and I feel like it was sensational. I like the side characters in this as well. Maybe not the ones that are on the cyber ship, but I liked Ethan, I liked Koshamus. You know, those guys were okay.
Yes.
I think the issue with Chibnall, and maybe, I mean, obviously he doesn't listen to this podcast, but if he did, my only thing for him, maybe...
Of course Chibnall listens to the podcast, we're his biggest fans now.
Maybe next series, just, like, not have as many big casts, maybe get, like, one or two. I mean,
yeah.
Now with the companions gone, I guess you can add a few more if you like. But no, man, this was great. Also, I want to talk about one more thing. I just want to get all the problems out people had on Twitter. Everyone was getting really annoyed that Captain Jack didn't come back. My question...
we already knew he wasn't going to come back, because he'd said so and so had the chip.
Also, my answer is, where would he have fit?
Yeah.
He would have just come back and gone, Doctor...
Oh, I'm here.
I can't do an American accent, but he would have just been with the companions, waiting around. You know, he wouldn't have been able to influence the story.
No, I agree.
And I guess the last big point... I'm just getting all the points of contention out. And
please do.
This is the one that I think you might have the most talk about. What do you think about Ashad just getting offed? Because for me, it didn't bother me because his usefulness was already used up.
Yeah, he'd been the main villain of 2 episodes. That's enough, really. And I like the fact that this massively dramatic character and like a character whom everybody had a good feeling about as well when they were shown. The fact that the Master just went boop and he's gone. That shifts the power dynamic and makes us aware that, you know, the Master ain't fucking about. The Master isn't like he's going around shooting humans, yeah, sure, but he's just done that to a Cyberman and the leader of the current like army, the Reign. This guy was pretty much the king, and the Master's just gone, and he's dead. Like, boom. I like that. I like the shift in power dynamic there, because until then the Master was very much playing like, oh no, I'm here to help. sort of thing, and that just shifts it automatically into I'm here to win. I like it. By the way, guys, I'm eating fruit, so if you suddenly hear me go like...
I've just finished a lovely cup of coffee. If you don't know, me and George are slightly ill. We're not horribly ill. We haven't got COVID-19, but we're not feeling our best. So I just had a lovely warm cup of coffee, and George.
We haven't got
fruit.
Pan 7. Is it Pan 7?
Chen 7.
Chen 7. That's it.
Pan 7.
I haven't watched Amy's.
Golly waited
in ages. I'm about to say Amy's Choice. I was like, hey,
we need to. Yeah. So at the end of the podcast, we'll talk about format and what we're doing. And
I'm getting so rusty with my Doctor Who.
That's why the podcast is going to help.
Indeed.
But for me, Ashad, he was really, really cool, really good. But again, with the direction Chibnall was going, it didn't fit, and it was a direction that I would have preferred than the generic Cybermen want to take over the world plot.
Yeah.
This is maybe because the Cybermen were still involved in the plot.
Notice as well that when we first met Missy, she was working with the Cybermen.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a point of contention that why didn't the Cybermen, when he said the Master, why didn't they know who they were, who the Master was? I'm like, it's not the same group of Cybermen. This is like the end of.
I would absolutely love it if it turned out Missy was actually like after Sacha Dhawan, and that she still had the Siberian in her, and she was like helping the Cybermen out.
See, my thing is that people want like an explanation as to why we've gone from Missy to Sacha, and my thing is regeneration. It's a lottery. The Master can go, because we always knew that Missy sort of more was a game than I wanted. There was never really a plot where she wanted to blow up the world. You think about it, our first appearance in Dark Water, Death in Heaven was I'm gonna make the dead come alive to get the Doctor's attention, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Then she's like, you can team up with me if you like. Then she goes to save the Doctor in the Dalek two-parter.
Yeah.
And then her final appearance, she saves the Doctor, but like. We always had that. She was always unreliable, and now I think Sacha Dhawan is that brilliant. Again, I'm sorry for fanboying over Sacha Dhawan. I just really like his Master. He's the perfect mix of the unhinged, you feel bad for him at certain points because he brings that sorrow, you find him entertaining, but he's also demonic.
I like the idea that Sacha Dhawan's Master comes immediately after John Sim and Missy is somewhere else down the line, because. For me, the jump from almost falling in love with the Doctor, and then, like, at the end, I know you probably haven't seen the episode in a while, but in Capaldi's in the final episode of Series 10, she turns around to go and help the Doctor, and John Sim's Master kills her.
Yeah, no, I know that.
And I think jumping from Missy wanting to go and help the Doctor to then Sacha Dhawan being like, I'm going to kill everything because the Doctor's inside me. It sort of like just feels unnatural to me, and I feel like the progression from John Sim to Sacha Dhawan, and then John Sim being the unhinged Master, and then Sacha Dhawan still being incredibly childish and unhinged and hating the Doctor, feels a bit more natural to me, and that Missy is somewhere else down the line when all of this is sort of blown over.
Okay, I mean, the only thing that would allow me to like go, okay, that makes sense, is that the Master didn't mind the Doctor until the Master found out this information, and that took him over the edge. I would be fine with that explanation if he went, yeah, I did like you until I found out you are the reason
I found out that you were already inside.
You are the reason for my pain. Because he's in so much pain. Remember the 4 knocks? That was all because he was a Time Lord, blah blah. And for me, Dhawan was great, but I think we need to really just quickly get out of the way. We now fully have seen the new Cyberman redesign. I have one gripe.
Yeah, go on.
And I love this design, so before people complain and say, why don't you like it? Why do they have American football pads on their shoulders with spikes on it?
I watched a YouTube video about that, and the guy who designed them was like, I really like the idea of the Cybermen being like spiky and dangerous. And it's like, they're the Cybermen, not a 90s pop band. What are you talking about? This isn't the punk rock Spider-Man outfit from fucking comic books. This is the Cybermen. You know what? It didn't bother me as much. They did look a bit cheesy, But you know what? I'm alright with it. I don't really care.
It's still the best design of the new series. Because I'm not a huge fan of the RTD ones. I know there's nostalgia. But they're too.
Really?
They're too. Yeah, I don't like them because they're too robotic, and I love the fact that the Master questioned that when the Cybermen were like, "We're gonna
So you want to be robots then?" And they're like, "Yeah," and it's like, "Oh,
that's
well,
a bit
everybody wants to be
disappointing.
robots." I like the bit where he's like, "You could throw a rock in this universe and hit a robot. I used to do that."
and then he's like, well, "How disappointing!" You know what?
How disappointing is that? Yeah.
And then he's like, and then the Cyberman's like, "Do you question the Siberian?" And the Master's like, "Yeah, of course I do." I think that's every Doctor Who fan going, "This is a shit plan."
Yeah.
And although people are saying, why is there now not a Cyberman story where it's just a Cyberman, I don't think the Cybermen in the new series have been shown yet to be able to be smart enough to lead themselves. Because again, they're not broad enough thinking.
Yeah.
Plus, I think the Cybermen are... I prefer the idea of the Cybermen. I think they're scarier than the Daleks, but I think there's more to do with the Daleks on their own than the Cybermen by themselves.
Yeah.
Cybermen are more generic army without the personality. Like, if it was just Jodie versus the Cybermen, there would have to be a lot of personality from Jodie's side to get across. I'm not saying that she's not possible of doing that. I'm just saying I think it's more interesting.
It's like Nightmare and Silver. Like, for example, Nightmare and Silver had Mr. Clever, which obviously is just Matt Smith playing two different characters, but it still had that personality. And then even bloody Nightmare and Silver had Lumic.
You mean Rise of Cybermen, Age of Steel?
Yeah, that's it. What did I say? Rise of Steel.
You said Nightmare and Silver again. You said Nightmare and Silver twice, and then you went even in Nightmare and Silver.
You had like John Lumic and everything, and for the Doctor to bounce
Trigger from Only Fools and Horses.
Trigger from Only Fools and Horses with his broom.
Rest in
peace. Had for 20 years. Yeah, rest in peace. And then you again, even in I definitely see what you mean when you say that there's like only Cyberman stories that don't have some sort of outsource, you know? Like even in the entire Battle of Canary Wharf bit where it's the Cybermen, but it's also the Daleks.
I have an issue with that though, with Doomsday.
Yeah?
Which I don't want to get into too much, but I feel like the Cybermen should have been more effective against the Daleks. They couldn't even land a finger on them. And I was like...
No, to be fair.
And I was like, once he's telling... I mean, also... That scene where the Doctor is stuck in the Matrix and she can't get out, and the Master's been able to create his new race of Cybermen, and I guess she summons Ruth Doctor. And that's what.
Yeah.
And I love the scene because I told you this before. The difference in Moffat and Chibnall's writing. If you don't know, in The Witch is Familiar, when Capaldi comes in Davros's chair and he's got a cup of tea, he's like, "Question: How do I get the cup of tea?" Answer: "I'm the Doctor. Just deal with it." That was a response to fans having a go at Moffat's plot holes. This one is when the Doctor goes, "But when are you in my timeline?" And Ruth Doctor goes, "Does it really matter? Like, it doesn't change who you are now. It doesn't change the person that you've always been, does it?" That's a much better way of writing than going, "Just don't think about it, please."
Please don't question it. No, I didn't think that far in. Yeah.
Now it's saying you don't need to question it rather than don't. And I like that. And again, I like Ruth's cameo. I'll be up for seeing more Dr. Ruth. I don't think we will. I think this is it for her.
No, we'll see her again, definitely.
You think? I'd like
100%.
I'd like to, especially because she's quite popular, and I think it'd be interesting. There's only one plot hole, but again, we don't know how it works. But the Doctor's maybe it was just when Ruth first arrived, but her chameleon circuit should be working, and it's a TARDIS.
Yes, that's what I've noticed as well.
It's a small nitpick, if anything.
Which I can only assume it means that Ruth is in the future, but has had her mind wiped.
I don't know
if it's going to be some sort of time.
I'm going to go with past because she didn't know what the sonic screwdriver was, and it's a classic looking design. I think it's meant to be.
I suppose.
Tied that it's the past. But in terms of that side of things, this is the scene that you really wanted to talk about, where the Doctor starts to break out of the Matrix. She's like, no, I got this. And then we get that beautiful bit, and now you want to talk about... I'm sorry, I'm stealing your thunder. But that bit where the Doctor Who theme starts playing as Jodie breaks out.
Oh my god.
Chills! So I said last week, the Essential Cybermen gave me chills. This also gave me chills.
Yes,
like, it was so good. I'm sorry, I think Segan killed it this week. I know you haven't been the biggest Segan Akinola fan, but I think this week he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
What did you wanted to talk about that sequence and Easter eggs in particular, didn't you?
Yeah, so a sequence is displayed where we see a bunch of like incarnations of the Doctor, you know, obvious ones. We get Capaldi, Smith, Tennant, all of these lovely, lovely people going all the way back. But we also see, I don't recall which episode it's from.
Brain and Morbius.
Brain and Morbius, that's it. Where the Fourth Doctor is shown his past incarnations, and in amongst familiar faces like Pertwee, Hartnell, Troughton, we see a couple of other random faces of just random actors they pulled off the street. And we see those people in this flashback. And at the time, we're told that those are regenerations of the Doctor, but everybody just assumed they were future regenerations. And obviously now it turns out that they are not. They are actually past incarnations of another life that the Doctor didn't know was a thing, and I love that. I really love the attention to detail there.
Me too. And I've also got to go with, I get it. By the way, I just want to. I think I could do an entire video on both the opinions of Chris Chibnall. I appreciate the fact that he tried to do something new in Series 11. It didn't work for me, but I like the fact that he's listening to the he listened to the fans, and the fans think, well, some fans do because they're idiots. But he listened to the fans, and we want some things from the past. This year,
and
he's balanced it.
He brought them back. Yeah,
and I like the fact, because I always get annoyed in canon if there's a new showrunner and stuff. It happens in some TV shows when they're like, no, I want to focus on my things that I created. But no, I think because he hasn't gone, look, here's everything in every episode. There's this. Because I think, say for example, if the Autons were back in Praxeus, I would have gone, okay, this is getting a bit, you know, we need some new things. But no, I really like this. I really like that he showed stuff. Also, I like the fact I think we saw Peter Cushing in the flashback as well from the Doctor Who movies. And I know they're technically not canon, but stuff like that makes me go, all right.
Yeah.
I just, genuinely, I really enjoyed that. But no, this was your scare, though, wasn't it? Hang on, before I get into that, the actual bit where she comes out is fantastic. I genuinely, my God, I think we see Slitheen, we see a bunch of stuff.
Yes, yeah.
It's good. But, I don't know why, but this, I was obviously invested throughout, but this is when I kind of thought to myself, this is why I'm a Doctor Who fan. Moments like this, because obviously we're nerds, we're geeks, we like our stuff.
All of the above, yeah.
And there are some times when people go, "This is crap," and you can't really argue it. Sometimes
because it is a bit, yeah.
But this is like, no, this is for moments like this. This is why I watched this show. Shivers down my spine watching. And just showing all the history, and like, this is the show that I've watched, and they're doing stuff, and also the fact that I don't know, this finale brought its A game for me. You know, I can't deny, and that scene where Jodie comes out of the Matrix, and you're worried that she's going to regenerate. Obviously, in the back of, in our, thinking properly, in our heads, we know that she isn't because she signed on. However, that's a testament to the episode that we were like.
I was genuinely I was thinking, holy shit, maybe this is another massive plot twist that Chibnall's throwing in, and that actually Jodie hasn't signed on for another series, and that we're actually just going to have this episode and one final one next Christmas of Jodie. I was like, oh shit.
Do you know what?
It's too soon.
Do you know what? I would have 2 more series of Jodie, easily. I would have a 4 series. Because I think now she's hit her stride. I think
ain't no one gonna break that stride.
I think 2 more series with her would be great. Also, it would get her over. Would it get over? It would get her over to the 60th at this point, which I want. I don't want her to leave one series for the 60th, and then Jodie just misses out. I feel bad at that point.
She'd come back from.
Yeah, but she left 6 months prior. Don't think.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, I think the first female Doctor should be in the 60th.
Celebrated.
I'm enjoying the Twitter memes though of if you don't have Twitter, unfortunately, but if you did, you'd see that everyone's doing like photoshops of the end game scene where every army and it's just different celebrities' faces.
Yes.
Stuck going on. I love stuff like that. Can we get McGann in 60th, please? I want McGann.
Oh, yes. McGann.
I want Sylve. I want Colin. I want Peter. Even if it's just for a scene, I don't care. Just bring them in, please. And if you go, well, they're old now, so I don't care about continuity. Patrick Troughton came back with grey hair, and so did Jamie, even though technically they shouldn't remember each other.
Completely breaks continuity, yeah.
Sometimes you just do things for the fun of Doctor Who, and you go, well, this is just a fun side adventure, and that's what an anniversary special should be, really. I don't think anyone's going. I mean, obviously we all joke and question it, but I don't think anyone's going, when did this fit into David Tennant's runs, the Doctor? You know?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going, you know, well, this, now it just break. I think an anniversary special, if you're going to make it fun, that is an episode you can make fun for the sake of fun. You can just make it go balls to the wall crazy and great. But no, genuinely though, this was the first time in a while I was worried for all our characters. And that scene where, like, Jodie's on the floor and all the fam come in, and it's heartbreaking.
I was genuinely like, heartbreaking. This is it.
Genuinely, man, I was like, they're gonna get offed here. They're gonna get offed. This is where the sadness comes in, because the Doctor finds the fam and the other people a TARDIS, and she realizes that she's got to try and get this death particle, and she's got to blow it up. And they, as you said before, they set the bombs up on the cyber ship to blow it all up, get rid of them. But the Doctor's like, I can't let you guys do this, it's got to be me. And we get this lovely, again, Segan's music comes in, we get this, it's not slow motion, but it's no sound, it's just the music of Jodie walking in, and Yaz is like, don't go, Doctor. And of all people, it's Ryan that says, Yaz, come on,
let it go,
we can't. And I like that from Ryan, again, character development. Can we just talk about, I know obviously I complained about that, I'm so happy the Chibs nailed this, you know? I just, there's not an aspect of the story where I'm like, you could have done, like, that was a bad, for me anyway. I just love it. And then they supposedly go away and their chameleon circuit's working and they go back to regular Earth. I wonder whether it's Sheffield. I hope it is. I hope they didn't have to, maybe it's New York, but I didn't think a TARDIS could land in New York. Oh my god.
Maybe it's outside of New York and they're going to go
please, I mean, they can't because Carrington's too big, but please remember Amy and Rory for the 60th. I'd love that, but no.
I reckon Karen Gillan would do that.
If time allowed, Karen would do it. I think she'd do it for the fun of it, just coming back, you know?
Yeah.
Arthur Darvill, as I've joked before, he'd just run straight back. He'd be like, I can sign on for 10 episodes, Chibnall. Do you want me? Do you want me back? And Chibnall's like, Arthur, I'm sorry.
We want you, like, one time, dude.
But that scene where Jodie's walking back. Again, Jodie, as we said, as you right, killed it. And that scene where she's walking back and she's got the button. Just the look on her face. She is defeated at this moment. She can't win. Like, yeah, she's going to blow herself up and stop the world from having unbeatable Cybermen. Yeah. But the Doctor isn't winning here. This isn't a victory. She's had to leave her friends. She's about to kill herself and her planet. And technically,
also, I'd like to point out that Gallifrey is still there because it only gets rid of organic life forms,
so they can rebuild.
So Gallifrey is definitely still there.
It's like in Spider-Man: Far From Home, where Mysterio is like, London's a beautiful place, but they'll rebuild. When he's planning on attacking London, but she's about to kill her best friend, sort of, you know. It's complicated, but honestly, it's just, I don't know about you, man, but that scene, every element was on fire.
Yeah, man.
I don't know how to describe it, and I'm trying my best, but there's so many layers.
It was like, even doing that synopsis a minute ago was super difficult. Like, wow, it was magic.
In a good way, I want to point out.
For an hour and a half, by the way, I'd like to point out.
That's fine, man, I don't care. It was a bumper-long episode of Doctor Who, it can be a bumper-long episode of the podcast. At least we're not filling it up with Sonic the Hedgehog this time.
Hey. There ain't nothing wrong with Sonic the Hedgehog.
There wasn't, to be fair. I'll give you. It was a fine film. I'm only doing it for the memes. I quite enjoyed it. But it killed me. And when, as you said before, when the master's like, go on, do it. I dare you to press the button, and then
it's when when she doesn't, he's like, the universe is gonna suffer because of your weakness, right there. I was like, woohoo!
And then bloody Koshamus, he's like, the universe needs you, Doctor, or something along lines of that, which leads you.
He's like, the universe still needs you. Go, Doctor! And then like the Doctor starts legging it, but it's like he says that very much like, I know what you up to, Doc. I know what you do. So I think
he just said the word Doc, so therefore Koshamus has grown.
No, I think it. So I sort of speculated that Koshamus is the last incarnation of the Doctor, the very last, and it's actually the Doctor
I disagree because of the weapons thing.
Oh no, I know I disagree as well, but I think that could be cool.
And then it happens, but I want to point out, because you're worried that the cyber race are gone. I don't think they are, mate. Because if you go on BBC iPlayer, and as Koshamus hits the button, the Master says, all of you through here now.
Oh.
So I still feel Koshamus may have blew up a few of them, but they're not all gone.
Oh shit.
So I don't think those cyber masters are gone yet. I don't think they're not getting rid of Sacha Dhawan anyway. People want
no, definitely
he'll be
not.
back. He is the John Sim to David Tennant.
To Jodie Whittaker.
To David Tennant. That sort of thing. It's so good. And then we see the Doctor's TARDIS. By the way, the TARDIS interiors, they're all classic, which I love. And when the Doctor's TARDIS materialises, it's a tree, because she hasn't obviously.
And she goes, oh, good material, good chameleon circuit.
Yeah, and then
she's like,
but
I'm gonna have to leave you here though,
because you're not mine. And then she strokes the TARDIS, and then she goes in, and she's defeated because the Doctor didn't win here. The Doctor. This is her biggest loss, probably since A Good Man Goes to War. And then the Jadoon pop up, and they're like, we have found the fugitive.
Yeah, they're like, we are basically a hit team.
It's the same dude from Fugitive, same one.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, Doctor, you're going to be put into maximum security prison now.
By the way,
and she's like,
it's a small thing, but I do love the red and blue lights on the TARDIS.
Yeah,
it makes you feel like the Doctor's in like some GTA style thing or something going on.
Yeah.
And then you have a good theory about what leads on next, because we ended the series
I think
Rick and Morty season 2.
Yeah. I think that this entire Christmas special might be bringing back River Song. Because if my theory is correct, and that the prison that the Doctor is currently in is in fact Stormcage, which I think it is, obviously River is very much a patron of visiting Stormcage and knows how to escape.
I just want to say, you might not want to throw your mum under the bus here, but can you tell them your mum's theory? Because it genuinely makes me laugh.
Oh, right, yeah, my mum reckons that Amy and Rory are coming back too, because Rory's been to Stormcage once and knows how to get around. And I was like, why Amy though? And she was like, I don't know, she's with him. Right, okay.
Also, is it him in the Roman costume the entire time?
Yeah, 100%.
It's just funny to me. You said you were like, yeah, mum, the TARDIS.
Yeah, I was like, she was like, he knows how to get in and out. I was like, but mum, the TARDIS. Like, what did you think? Like, he just like wandered in and was like, oh, hang on, there's River. Yep. Yeah, right, Riv, doing some stuff with the Doctor if you want to join in. She's like, no. And he's like, what a bitch.
So you believe River's coming back next?
I
believe it could be Captain Jack Harkness. And you don't need to explain how Jack got into prison. You could just be like, had another week on Ibiza 13. Woo!
Actually, that was a month.
And all that stuff. I think that's where we could be seeing Jack back. If not, it definitely will be Series 13. Do not worry, guys. Jack is coming back. There is no way, after the mega response, that they are not. If they don't, then you have a right to complain. However, this leaves Doctor Who on probably the biggest cliffhanger since Name of the Doctor.
Yeah, probably.
Where we saw John Hurt come back. Is this the most excited you've been for a special? Like a festive special? Ever? Since End of Time, maybe? Because you were around when End of Time was on. I wasn't.
I was in fact around, yes.
I wasn't a Who fan back then.
Yeah, I suppose so. I was very excited for... yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, it must be.
Yeah, it's good. Also, I just want to point out, you didn't even realise this, so I told you, but this episode's extra length didn't even feel like there was any, which is an absolute godsend to Chibnall's pacing.
Indeed, yeah.
Because I was like, did you enjoy the extra 20 minutes? And you were like, there was an extra 20 minutes. And I was like, yeah. It was. I think this is the extra 20 minutes definitely helped. It helped it breathe. Imagine this being condensed to 50 minutes. It wouldn't work. Yeah, man. Just sensational. Anyway, before we get on scores on the doors, I just want to say if this is the last proper time that we do see, at least for a while, Sacha Dhawan. I don't know whether we'll see him next series or they might bring him back. Do you think that he is? Well, first of all, do you think he's coming back? And B, would you like him to come back?
Oh, I'd love him to come back. I love the Master. I think he's a brilliant villain. Also, I just want to point out, this is the first ever episode of Doctor Who to have eight different men playing the Cyber. 8 different... Yeah, it's just men. I suppose it's because of the build. But 8 different men playing the Cybermen. I've got to give credit to that because normally they just CGI them. I love the fact they went as practical as possible with the Cybermen here, and I thought that was really good. Got to give credit to always give credit to Nick Briggs because he does the Cybermen and he did the Jadoon Captain. Always got to give credit to Nick Briggs because he is a godsend. Without him, we wouldn't have our great voices in the modern series, the Daleks, Cybermen, No,
Jadoon.
we wouldn't. Yeah.
So he's brilliant, and Big Finish.
Yes, of course.
And again, I know we've mentioned it so many times, but Jodie Whittaker. You are, like, if there was any worries from last series if you're actually a good doctor or not, don't worry. You are. If I did a doctor ranking, I don't know where I'd put her, because I really like her. Just genuinely very pleased.
Yeah, you're brilliant.
Right, now,
well done, lass.
Now this is the difficult bit, because I don't know whose turn it is to go first, but because you changed your... I'm going to let you do scores on the doors first this week, because you've changed.
I was going to give it... I genuinely was going to give this one like a 6. But I rewatched it as a fan and enjoyed it 10 times more. So I'm going to give it a 60. No, I'm joking. I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Do you know what? I know this is unheard of, and you know with me this is very unheard of. I'm giving it a 10. I'm sticking to the 10. Because, do you know, like, I've said it before, but I've never felt more happy to be a Doctor Who fan in a long time. Like, I've not... Because when Capaldi's episodes were coming out, I was like, yay, Doctor Who. But I wasn't begging for more Doctor Who. I am now chomping at the bit for it to be December. And just cannot wait. You know what I mean? That feeling as a fan of a TV show. If you're watching a TV show and you're going, well, alright, no, you've got to wait another year, whatever, there's other things that will preoccupy me.
Something's wrong, yeah.
You know, especially with your favourite TV show. Whereas right now I'm like, what's going on? Why? At the end of that, I think audibly went, what? Like, you can't leave it there. No! It's just like the massive David Tennant memes of the...
Yeah. What?
You can do it better than me. The one where the Titanic cut...
The Titanic, yeah. He's like, what? All of that shit.
Yeah, just brilliant stuff. So, right then, that is our mega review of The Timeless Children. What did you guys think, though? Please do let me know down below. I just want to let you know that I will be part of a collaboration sketch video coming up soon as well, not on this channel. You guys may have seen that a 1917 review came out with a good friend of mine called Anton Blake Cox. He's doing a sketch of every episode of Series 12 on his channel, like 40-second sketches. I'll be a part of that for every episode. It's going to be a writer's room-esque sketch for every episode. So go check that out on his channel by all means. I'll be there.
But you're not a writer.
I know. I am, but I'm not a very good one.
Well, just by that definition, I'm also a writer. I also read.
But now we got some admin to do for the podcast. So you may remember we haven't mentioned because we had no idea what we were doing with the podcast in episode 1. We just recorded it in the same room using the same mic. Now we've actually got a format. It works lovely. We've got George's synopsis corner. We've got my own jingle for things. We do news. We do merch. We have a chat. We finally got a format rolling. Next week's going to be a bit different. So as we said, we'll try and get to Onward, but that's not confirmed. However, if we don't get to this week, it will be next week. However, next week we're doing a recap of Series 12, so we're going to talk about every episode and what we thought, especially because we missed the first half as well on the podcast. So we can get all that out of the way, and then we're going to do an episode ranking, because I love a good ranking. Everyone loves a good ranking. YouTube clicks for...
Oh, I love a good ranking.
YouTube clicks for days. But after that, what we're doing is... George wants to do an experiment where he makes me watch a show that I don't like, and I make him watch a show that he's never seen. So because I'm a lot more harsh on shows than he is, he'll like, oh no, watch this, man, and I'm like, no, it's not for me.
I want him to watch The Witcher, and he was refusing to, and I was like, mate, you need to watch this. This is really good. And then I said, tell you what, you watch The Witcher, and I'll watch The Flash. Like the first episode, and you watch the first episode of The Witcher, and we'll talk about the episode on the pod. And he was like, alright, cool, let's do that. So we're going to do that.
Also, James, finally, shut your mouth. I believe that us getting drunk and watching Doctor Who is coming eventually. We don't know when it will be. It will happen. You'll love it. Don't worry. I'll love watching it back the next day and going, what the fuck was wrong with us? It will be coming. Don't worry. I believe the first episode we're doing could be Unicorn and the Wasp, just because...
Yeah, I thought you said Beast Below.
No, that's just regular Doctor Who, man. That's what I'm getting on to next. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing 2 Doctor Who reviews a month. 1 new, 1 classic. If we decide to do stuff like Sarah Jane Adventures and Torchwood, that may overtake the Doctor Who reviews for a while. However, so in 2 weeks' time, we'll be doing a classic series review. I'm going to let George pick the first, hopefully one he hasn't seen before, and we can watch it. Because George, although he's a fan of classic Who, he hasn't got around to all of them.
I'm a massive fan of Doctor Who, all types of it. I've not caught up on the classics.
So we'll do classics first, but next...
I've seen my fair share of classics, don't worry, I'm not a complete classic virgin. But I have some, I have quite a few. Obviously there are some that I haven't seen. That's bad.
So yeah, we'll pick one.
Disclaimer.
We'll pick one that he hasn't. He'll pick one that he hasn't seen. Have you watched the one I got you for Christmas earlier? Do you?
Yeah, of course I have. Probably
the Autons one with
Oh yeah. Of course I have.
Good. Thank God for that. And we'll do that.
Terror of the Autons.
And then what's going to happen? Every alternating week will be a different topic. So next week it'll be Witcher and Flash, then Doctor Who, then another thing, and then back to New Who. So it'll be other topic, classic Who, other topic, New Who, other topic, and so on and so forth. And our first episode of New Who is Beast Below. I did it in a random name picker, it came up. Whereas I can't do that with Classic Who because, first of all, we don't own every single episode of Classic Who that ever existed. And B, I'm not writing down the only ones that me and George own because I'd have to ask him, hey George, what classics do you own? So we'll just have a discussion and go, yeah, let's do that one. Rather than that. But so yeah, in terms of my channel, I will be doing some Series 12 related videos as well. But yeah, in terms of stuff that's going down at the minute, I'm sorry the channel's been a bit lax. It's been a busy week with our final area of college and stuff, and it's like all ramping up and all that and jazz. But I've got a cool short film for my final project, which I'll probably upload to my production channel.
Are you actually going to do
I am actually going to do yeah. Oh, lovely. Sorry about George creaming his knickers there for a second.
I'm very excited for this. This is an idea that I came up with, and I'm really glad you liked it because obviously I'm doing an animation for mine, so I can't necessarily venture into what that is. Yeah, I'm pretty happy.
But it's in the beta stages right now, so we won't give anything away.
Yeah, of course.
However, guys, this has been longer than our Sonic episode. However, do you know what? Doctor Who is back on full form. We'll get into it next week when we have to think about our episode ranking and whatever. And that means I'll be able to finalise the spreadsheet, because I've got a spreadsheet of all our episode scores. and I want to make sure that
Do you?
yeah, just so we can see where we differ, and then if we go back in time, we're like, oh, what did I give that one again? And because sometimes you're like, oh, I'll give it a 7, but then you realise you gave Orphan 55 like a 6, and you're like, what? Why would it? This is so much better than Orphan 55. Why do you know? So that sort of thing. However, George, plug your regulars and all that, and
okay, Untempered Productions on the old YouTubes, as well as Untempered_Productions on the old Instagrams.
I believe there will be an actual time lapse up this week.
Yeah, I will be uploading a video soon, apologising that I haven't uploaded in a week, just because I've been busy, and last week I sort of screwed up the entire streaming thing, the entire time-lapse thing.
Can you check that you've not... Can you check this?
I started recording like 20 minutes before we actually started recording the podcast.
Fair enough. I want to apologise for the podcast being late last week. I was busy. Actually, I wasn't busy. I went out on Friday night and didn't edit the podcast. And unfortunately, last week was a really busy week for me, and I just couldn't do it on because we film these on Tuesdays, because that gives me normally enough time to do stuff. But I didn't have enough time last week to get stuff done. This week I will, and I'll get it done Thursday.
Yeah, we were busy.
But this week we're not. We're back to regular life, and yeah, no more Doctor Who for the foreseeable future. It's sad. I was telling George that it's technically the last series of Doctor Who for 3 years that we'll be watching inside our homes. I don't know whether you were joking about what you said earlier. I hope you were.
I'm coming back every weekend to watch Doctor Who with my mum. Oh, I am not joking.
What?
I will be coming back every week to watch Doctor Who with my mum.
Jesus Christ.
It's Jason
It's
Bourne.
Jason. That's like when we said Jesus Christ, he's back again.
Yeah.
It's like Darville at the BBC asking for another role as Rory.
Jesus Christ, it's Rory.
Anyway, guys, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter at AlexKing_Dom.
Hey, subscribe!
See, I was quiet when you were plugging your crap, and now you're coming and being loud till I'm trying to plug my stuff.
Subscribe.
Absolutely. And we'll be back next week.
Pretty please.
I don't know whether you're just doing a random voice or you're trying to do Morty, but it's kind of a mix of the two.
Oh,
jeez, Rick.
Oh, subscribe, Rick. Oh.
Shut! I can't do a Rick impression.
Oh, jeez. Shut up, Morty. It's a podcast, Morty. I've got a little throat, Morty.
Yeah, he probably shouldn't do that anymore. As George is dying.
Fuck, Morty.
As George is dying. We'll see you guys next week.
Fucking dying,
Have a good
Morty.
week.